So Britain used to have a festival that was essentially about romance and desire and couples disappearing into fields together. Beltane, traditionally celebrated on the 1st of May, marked the beginning of summer in the old Celtic calendar, but really it was about life, fertility, energy, attraction, connection. Like, I'm sorry, we had that as a cultural option and we said, no thanks, we'll take traffic on the M3 instead.
This is fine.
I just want to know who approved that cultural downgrade because I have notes. I mean, what happened to us? So, this is another episode in my little series that I'm doing on the culture that made the British and the origin stories that this island used to share in every part of this country. This is not a let me lecture you on history kind of an episode. This is more of a how did we go from that to this kind of a thing. I think it's good to talk about the country we were as much as it's important to talk about the country we're becoming. If only so that we can figure out when we started making slightly questionable cultural swaps.
Traitor. You are a traitor.
And with every one of these episodes, I find myself thinking, I have so many questions about our life choices. Because May Day, or Beltane as it was known, wasn't just some niche pagan moment or only for the girls who had too many crystals. It was a national mood. Winter was over, the fields were waking up, the animals were busy.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Suddenly, everyone was a little more emotionally available. Like, there was actually a moment in the year where everyone just collectively admitted that they had feelings, or in modern terms, everyone suddenly had main character energy and nowhere to put it. And the way that they celebrated it, oh my lord, was it layered. On the surface, it was very wholesome. You had the May Queen, chosen by the local villagers for her lovely character from the unmarried women who would be crowned with flowers representing youth and renewal and beauty, which honestly sounds lovely until you realise that we have basically spent the last decade pretending that femininity is either oppressive or cringe.
I am a victim of a hate crime.
Progress, apparently. And it wasn't just the women, by the way, who embraced the spirit of Beltane, because while you had the May Queen, the men were not exactly subtle. You had Morris dancers and you had figures like Jack in the Green, literally a man dressed as a moving bush, representing nature and vitality, which sounds ridiculous until you realize that the entire festival was about life in every sense. So it wasn't one sided, it was a whole dynamic. Villages would decorate everything with greenery and flowers and ribbons, literally taking pride in how our world looked. And then there's the maypole, which looks very sweet. Ribbons, dancing, it's very bring your own picnic blanket. And then there's the fires. Huge bonfires would be lit across fields and hills. People believed that they were protective and cleansing, almost magical. Couples would jump over them together, which is either deeply romantic or the origin story of several regrettable injuries. Farmers would drive cattle between fires for protection. It wasn't only based around romantic sentiments, it was about protecting life, encouraging growth, and safeguarding the future. But then there is this bit that everyone kind of skips over because Beltane wasn't just symbolic fertility, it was actual fertility. There was this whole tradition called going a maying, where couples would leave the village, head into the woods or farmers' fields overnight. ... And I'm not saying that it was a full countryside recreation of George Michael's Outside, a rather underrated banger of his, in my opinion, but I'm also not saying that. There were even rituals like handfasting, where couples would literally have their hands tied together to symbolize union with ribbons, sometimes forever, sometimes for a year and a day, which, FYI, is where the term tying the knot comes from. I mean, even the beauty rituals were committed. Women would go out on dawn on May Day and roll in the dew. Yes, physically roll around on the ground because they believed it would bring glow, vitality, and all of that. So when you see someone doing a 12-step skincare routine, just know that there was a medieval girl out there like, I'll simply become one with the grass. Beltane gave people a socially understood moment where it was okay to feel things, expected even. And now we have more freedom than ever and somehow less clarity. Everything is always available, but nothing feels particularly anchored. Even though most people don't celebrate Beltane anymore, we still have the bank holiday, and that's not random. May Day became significant because it marked a turning point in the year, agriculturally, socially, and spiritually. It was the beginning of the productive season, the moment where everything starts growing again. And later, it became tied to workers' rights and labour movements. International Workers' Day, which is why we have the bank holiday now. So we've kept the day off, but we've let go of the meaning.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And honestly, farmers of Great Britain, you have an incredible opportunity here. Because if anyone understands the rhythm of the land, the timing of growth, the importance of seasons, it's them. Because they're the only ones still living in something close to a rhythm.
Are we the baddies?
Like, you're telling me we couldn't bring back an even toned down version of this? A bit of music, a bonfire, some flowers. And yeah, as ever, in some places May Day is celebrated, but there is no nationally recognised festival. I mean, farmers, you don't have to let your field get used by couples.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Because right now, May Day feels like it feels like a much needed long weekend. But it used to feel like a beginning, a moment where we all understood our place in the world. Because as time has evolved, we didn't get rid of the impulse to feel something. We got rid of the moment where it just made sense. So now it's implied everywhere, all the time, but there's no shared understanding of connection to land or history or even each other, really. And I don't know, but I'm not entirely convinced that's progress. So no, I'm not saying we all need to sprint into a forest at midnight in a white linen dress. Although, I mean, you do you.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
But maybe it's just about noticing that shift again and realizing that once upon a time we actually knew what to do with it. Because we didn't lose Beltane completely, we just stopped understanding it. So happy Beltane to you all, and I hope you have a lovely bank holiday weekend.